बहुत आवाज आ रहा है वरुण भाई, फैन का साउंड और व्हाट?
सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्युर्मामृतं गमय
मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्युर्मामृतं गमय
असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्युर्मामृतं गमय ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति।
So namaskar, namaste, very good morning, happy mornings to each and every one of you here. Today is the beginning of yet another beautiful month called August month. And 1st of August, today morning, I received a lot of loving, affectionate and respectful messages from members, non-members, students, and across the globe, lot of messages were coming. I am transforming that message to you. That is Happy Friendship Day. We are beginning this month with the India series, along with our stalwart CMA GKR by Gopalakrishna Raju sir, who is also a chartered accountant, also a IPA, also a RVO, and he is a guru, faculty member for many students from various walks of life. And today we are going ahead with the first one, the agriculture. That is the India's 41 agriculture. Then we will have in the month to follow India's 37, 24, 8 and 10 on all Sundays except for August 14th, because August 15th, Independence Day being a Sunday, we thought that we will have it on Saturday 14th. So it goes like that. Our own beloved Honorable Chittaranjan Chattopadhyay sir, Chittoda, the dynamic council member, chairman of Banking Financial Services Insurance Board, and chairman of Indirect Taxation Committee, who along with Dr. K. Chiranjeevi Aviation Murthy sir is in the Agriculture Task Force. We all remember how our institute celebrated Agricultural Day with the Honorable Minister Nitin Gadkari sir joining in Jamshedpur program. And a special white paper has been submitted to the Government of India by Chittoda and team. Our Biswarup Dada President, our Raju Iyer sir Vice President, and the entire team have formed a special task force for this purpose, along with the MSME task force also. Now MSME cell has been formed. The chairman is none other than Chittaranjan Chattopadhyay sir. He is very much with us. So we are straight away going to the webbing program India is 41 Agriculture. And in our team, we have Varun Joshi sir, the honorable official of the CAD Directorate from Delhi, and Somalika madam, honorable official attached to CAD Directorate from Kolkata. So on behalf of all of us, we wish you a very happy day, happy month ahead. Please stay safe, take care of yourself very nicely. Rest assured, everything will be all right. So wishing all the best to each and every one of you. This is the CMA H. Padmanabhan, Council Member, Chairman of Association of Accounting Technician and the Committee for Accounting Technician. We have certain pleasant news to share that through our Honorable President in his President Communique, you will come to know the various activities and developments and initiative which we have taken. And also, now I will request Chittaranjan Chattopadhyay sir to address all of us. He has declared this month as yet another thing for awareness program, and we both have decided and President has approved that respecting the honorable directions of Honorable President of India, Kovind sir, we are also going to have that this month as a financial inclusion awareness program month. You will be enjoying various deliberations and important things that have to be covered, that will be covered by dignitaries from the government side, from the banker side, from the insurance sector, and from various things. So over to you, Chitoda. Thank you so much, Chitoda, for joining us, and we request you to give your special address, also taking the privilege of welcoming your own and our own beloved GKR brother. Over to you, Chittaranjan Chattopadhyay, sir, please.
Thank you, M.H. Padmanabhan. Really another, landmark day that we are starting it. Welcome back to our IND-AS day, because it is because of your initiative as the chairman of the CAT and the AT board, you started this IND-AS series. We are thankful to you, especially to take a lead on that. And my most, respect to my brother, rather I should say, because in age he is junior to us, but his knowledge definitely is Dr. CMA, CA, and GKR. Now, yes, Mr. Raju has become GKR. This really, it has been always a pleasure for us every Sunday to wait. And we have got lot many feedback from the various participants in India and abroad that they were eagerly waiting for that particular IND-AS day on Sunday. So thank you, Padmanabhan, that you have brought back the whole series of IND-AS again. And I understand that IND-AS 41 was briefly discussed previously, but lot many questions were raised at that point of time. I think this the committee, the CAT committee and AT board is continuously striving hard to inculcate knowledge, disseminate knowledge on the various areas of the accounting and finance. And this IND-AS series will definitely give an edge to the CAT and AT board on this count. I think I will request our chairman also that he has already been taking some steps for having a, this certificate course on IND-AS from the AT board. And I think this will be definitely done in near future. But before that, we are listening from GKR. Dr. GKR is a having profound knowledge on this particular accounting standard, not only Indian accounting standard. He has been one of the examples of reservoir of knowledge in various sectors of economy. I have seen that in many webinars he is dealing with lot many subjects, which as a professional accountant, I think it now goes beyond professional accountancy. He's not only accountant now; he has become now one of the professors of the knowledge. And in fact, IND-AS 41, agriculture is the first standard that specially covers the accounting and reporting requirements for the primary sector. Prior to this standard, for agriculture and allied industry, this standard introduces agricultural accounting, which is a major away from the traditional widely applied in the primary industry. And this standard takes out the accounting for agricultural activity, the management of transformation of biological assets into agriculture. Listen, because the last time there were a lot of questions on that, the biological assets, then whether BRR plant will cover, what will the agricultural produce, the government grant, lot many discussions are there. And today we'll be listening to him in depth. And I am really thankful to you, H. Padmanabhan, and I am also welcoming our very beloved Dr. A to Z Murthy, who will be joining very shortly with us in this program. And along with that, I convey my heartfelt thanks to my president, Seme Bishro Basu, and Seme Vice President Seme P. Raju Iyer, to be with us on this program. In future, we shall be looking for more and more deliberations through this particular AS day. And I welcome everyone to this particular program. Happy Sunday. Please stay safe and stay strong, because we are yet to win over the pandemic days. Let's begin with this particular knowledge sharing program. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chitoda. And Chitoda is the host for the entire series of IND-AS for the month of August. And as he rightly told, Murthy sir, who is a colleague in the Association of Accounting Technician Board, along with Chitoda, is the coordinator. Thank you so much, Chitoda, for your wonderful thing as a host. Now everything is yours, Chitoda. You are the host. You can invite our Gopal Krishna Raju sir to address, and Varun Joshi Bhai, in case of requirement, Somalika can help them. Over to you, Chitoda.
Thank you, Dr. Padmanabhan and Mr. Padmanabhan. I request our team to introduce our GKR, although he doesn't require any formal, any sort of recognition because everybody knows him, but still, not many new entrants have. Today itself, we got one information from one of the participants. He's eagerly waiting. He has qualified CMA. Now he is eagerly waiting for this particular program. So please introduce our most respected speaker, Gopal Krishna Raju. Please.
Yes, Varun Joshi sir.
Good morning, each and everyone. CMA Dr. Gopalakrishna Raju is a fellow member of the Institute of Cost Accountants of India, Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, and Institute of Company Secretaries of India. He has also been awarded an honorary doctorate in governance of GST in government sector by St. Mother Teresa University, Melbourne, Australia. He is also twin postgraduate diploma holder in operation research and in financial management from Pondicherry University and MPhil in management from Tamil Nadu Open University. He is a member of Valuation Standards Board, Institution of Valuers, Registration Valuation Foundation. He is in advisory capacity of various colleges and universities as well. He is the author of books for CA students and seasoned speaker on information technology, finance and taxation. He is also a visiting and guest faculty for numerous institutions, corporates and B schools, and a passionate writer on technology and taxation in numerous journals and newspapers. And he regularly appears and interviewed in numerous TV channels and FM radio stations. Thank you.
Okay. Shall I
Yes,
share?
Chitoda, you can invite our GKR sir to address all of us.
So, Dr. Raju, it's nice to speak again. I request you to kindly share your views on it.
Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That
Yes,
we
sir.
will take care. You can start.
Is my screen visible, that webinar?
Yes, sir. Visible, visible.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. At the outset, let me thank the Institute of Cost Accountants of India, especially both the Central Council members, CMA H. Padmanabhanji and CMA Chittaranjan Das ji. They have been very meticulously focusing on various aspects and especially on member development, and all the initiatives taken is purely with respect to development of the new subjects. And as from 2019 October onwards, there is an initiative with respect to webinar. Even before pandemic came, I must acknowledge the contribution of CMH Padmanabhan. I must say he is a visionary in bringing out this technology, reaching nook and corner of the members, where and we are now in almost middle of 2021. So it's almost close to 2 years. So we would have crossed from October 2019 till this is August 2021. So it's a very big journey, and we never expected. Maybe Padmanabhanji was could not have even foreseen, and not even members would have foreseen that the webinar will become such a important a networking or a connecting point with the members, and that too on a Sunday, with respect to creating awareness among members is something phenomenal. Thank you very much for the response and the support and the overwhelming the support extended to these webinars. Coming to today's topic, agriculture. I'll say this is the last standard with respect to 2-digit standard, and after that you have the 3-digit standard. But before I go into this particular standard, I must say 41 is a very unique number, which is actually the combination of 4 and 5. 4 and 5. 4 square is 9, 5 square, so 4 square is 16 and 5 square is 25. So which is 41. And 4 refers to 4 types of land. 5 refers to the Panchabhutas, earth, water, fire, air and space. Without these 2, agriculture is not possible. And I must tell you something, Indian husbands, they always love peace and harmony in family. And they also follow agriculture, but not this agriculture. So the Indian husband's agriculture is AGREE culture. So they agree with their spouse for harmony in their life. But for nation's harmony and for nation's growth, our culture is agriculture. AGRICULTURE. And for your information, even in our accountancy classes, maybe partnership accounts we have gone through. We have gone through the corporate accounts, but have we gone through agriculture accounting? And I must say, Mr. Chittaranjan ji is from West Bengal, and I am very fond of one particular author from West Bengal, from Calcutta, Hrishikesh Chakrabarti. His accountancy book is the only book, even today, I must tell you that his book on cattle accounting, on farming, farm accounting, is one of the best book, maybe from those days. And today we have agrotech. We have agrotech. It is not technology is a company, not separate. Agriculture company is not separate. When I speak about agri companies in our country, number of producer companies that were registered is 7,374 companies only 7,000 plus companies. But out of that, only 6,700 companies are active. Only 6,700. And the total paid up capital of investment is only 860 crores. But you will be surprised. That means whether corporate form of agriculture is happening, no. The majority of the agriculture is only today with agriculturists who are in individuals or in family setup. 68.4 million hectares are irrigated area in our country, which is almost 43% of the total geographical area, which is called as net sown area. That means 57% is not agriculture. When we go to Indus civilization, the country used to be predominantly agriculture country, meaning more than 70% of the land used to be cultivated land, otherwise called net sown area. From 70% we have come down to 43%. And population have, we can even say, when Bharadiyar was there, that is in the pre-independence era, he has sung one song, Muppadu Kodi Mugamudayad. That means at that point of time, the country's population was only 30 crores. Today's population is 130 plus crore. 130 plus crore, and 50% of the population are into agriculture. So the significance of the standard is very much. Significance of the standard, and I'll share with you 2 annual reports. One is Tata Coffee Limited, and another one will be the Venki. The Venki's India Limited. Venki's India Limited. This is actually 2021. This is the latest balance sheet. So 2021 latest balance sheet as well as Tata Coffee's balance sheet, both I will discuss. Good. This entire standard is only 57 paras. But this standard has 8 plus 3, 11 definitions. 11 definitions. Actually, para number 5 is definition. I'll go to definition and the scope, objective, all this stuff one by one. But I will also share with you some case studies, some multiple choice questions, and also try to connect with all these annual reports also. There are 11 definitions, and you will be surprised. These 11 definitions, if you look at para number 5, you have 8 definitions, which are specific definitions. And if you look at para number 8, general definitions are there. Carrying amount, fair value, and government grant. These three are defined in other standards. For example, government grant is defined in AS 20. Fair value is defined in Ind AS 113. Carrying amount is defined in more than one standard. Not only here, Ind AS 16. 16 is your property, plant and equipment. Carrying amount is also defined in your intangible assets, Ind AS 38. Carrying amount is also defined in Ind AS 36, impairment of assets. So carrying amount is definition carried from other standards. Fair value is also a definition carried from other standards and government grants. Now, why this word government grant? Because in agriculture, sometimes land will be provided by government. You have to do agriculture and then you have to contribute, you have to give back the produce. Part of the produce you can retain, certain part of the produce you have to give. So this government grant can be in many forms. It can be in the form of land, it can be in the form of subsidy. Okay, it can be in the form of subsidy for implements, agricultural implements. It can be in the form of interest-free loan. And today NABARD, National Bank for Agriculture, Rural and Development, they support in various forms, Maybe the time may not be sufficient to discuss about the so many avatars of the agricultural activities, but I want to start with few very important aspects. Okay, I'll come to these questions a little later. First, let me take you to the objective of the standard. And remember, there are so many agriculture you would have come across, like horticulture, pisciculture, sericulture, viticulture. Viticulture is growing grapes. Floriculture is growing flowers. Pisciculture is fish farming. Sericulture is silkworm. Horticulture is growing vegetables, crops, and gardening. Okay, so that means in that pots. Okay, and you have silviculture, which is the practice of controlling the growth composition or structure. Okay, so that you try to actually focus only on the required production. Okay, apiculture. This is a scientific method of rearing honeybees. Okay, apiculture. So whether all these will come under agriculture. So that is the first fundamental question. I'll take you to a word called agricultural activity. The standard is agriculture. The Ind AS 41 is agriculture, and 41 means 4 square plus 5 square. 4 means 4 types of land. Okay, and it is a green, yellow, red, blue land. Means in Tamil they call it as Kurinji, Mullai, Marudam and Neidal. Kurinji means the mountain and mountain related lands. And Mullai means forest and forest related lands. Marudam means the vile and vile related. That means plain or the plateaus. Okay. And Neidal means the sea and the land close to the sea. That is called Neidal. So these blue refers to Neidal. So this green, yellow, red, all these refers to Kurinji, Mullai and Marudam. So that is the 4 classes of land. And of course, you need the 5 basic elements of to actually support agriculture. So that is how this number is also a very important aspect that plays with 41. Good. Now, what is the purpose of the standard? Objective: accounting, treatment and disclosure. Disclosure part I'll come at the end. I'll show you what is the main accounting disclosures that is required. One with respect to notes on accounts, where you have to explain what is the method you have followed. Disclosure is with respect to some tabular information. So these are the 2 things I'll discuss about disclosure a little later. Now, accounting treatment, I'll come to that, is the most important part. Okay. So accounting treatment, agricultural activity. So it is A and D, AD. Okay, A and D, accounting and disclosure of agricultural activity. So first I will take you to the word called agricultural activity. Okay, and this is defined in your para number. I'll come to this case study also a little later. So this is defined in para number 5. Agricultural activity. Now here, please look at some of the terms here. Biological transformation, harvest of biological assets. So biological transformation, harvest, biological assets, agricultural produce. These words are very important words. I repeat once again. What is agricultural activity? Management by an entity. An entity can be individual. An entity can be a corporate. An entity can be a partnership firm. Never Indian accounting standard uses a word called company. They don't use a word called company. Only in small and medium companies, the latest Indian accounting standard, in June 2021, the companies, the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, they brought out a new accounting standard rules. There's a new accounting standard rules applicable for SMCs alone, small and medium companies. Okay. So part of this is taken there and it is reflected there. So once Ind AS is clear, the accounting standards will also be very clear. Good. The following terms are used. Agricultural activities management by an entity of what? Biological transformation. So I will take you to the definition called biological transformation. So from one farm to another farm, from one farm to another farm, from egg, it transforms to a chick and it transforms to a bird. Biological transformation. Okay. From a seed, it transforms to a plant, germinates, and then it becomes a bush or it becomes a tree. Okay. So that is a biological transformation. Biological transformation and harvest a biological asset. So harvest means you have to cut. Okay. Biological asset means what? Biological asset is again defined. Now, for what purpose you do this activity? For sale or for conversion into agricultural produce or into additional biological assets. Each of this I'll give examples. Okay. Sale of agricultural produce, conversion into agricultural produce. Let me give example. Now please come to biological transformation. What is biological transformation? Growth, degeneration, production and procreation. Oh, growth. So that means biologicals from seed, it becomes a plant, a crop. Okay. Degeneration. You want to actually cut. It. For example, you from the rubber tree, you degenerate. So what do you do that? You actually take the milk. Okay. So degeneration, production of okay, it can be fruits. So it can be fruits, it can be flowers. Procreation. Okay. Procreation. Now what do you mean by procreation? Example, creation of additional living plants or animals. Especially I'll be referring to Venkies. In Venkies, you have two types of birds. One is called layer birds. Okay. One is called layer birds. So that means that bird will only lay eggs. That's all. Another is broiler birds. So that means it is only for the purpose of meat. And remember, the meat birds are, is it feminine or masculine? Especially broiler birds are very difficult to say whether it is feminine or masculine. Today we are getting so many fertility clinics is only because of there are so many reasons. One of the reason is the broiler birds, for your information. Okay. So procreation. Now, how do you bring the next generation? How do you bring the next, especially cattle farming? Okay. So you have goat farming. So with one batch of goat, you multiply. So that is also biological transformation. So growth, degeneration, a decrease in the quantity or deterioration in quality of an animal or a plant. Okay. So generally rubber plant. Can you go on take the, what do you call it as the rubber milk? No, it is not possible. So it will have a life. In that process only you can take it. Production. Okay. So in production, latex also will come, wool will come, milk will come. Okay. So all this will come under biological transformation. Now, let me take you to the term called harvest. Okay. What is called harvest? Why the word is very important here, I'll tell you. Because there are other two more standard. One is called Ind AS 16, property, plant and equipment. Ind AS 2, inventory. For your, now after this, I am taking you to a case study. I'll put one question. Okay. Say, for example, I'll take you to this particular case study. Look at this. ABC grows wines. You know, wine means VINES. It is called vineyard because wines will be in, they are not a crop. They are actually, they have to grow. They need some support. So because it is a creeper, we call it as a creeper. So it has to only creep around that particular support. So we call that as vineyard. Okay, not WINE. So from wines, you have to harvest the grapes, and from the grapes you have to produce wine. So maybe you have to do a lot of process. Okay. Now for your information, please look at this. Please look at this. I just want to share with you. Look at this. What is biological assets? Look at this. Grape wines. Grape wines, they are biological assets. What is an agricultural produce? The picked grapes will be agricultural produce. Now from the grapes, you process products that are a result of processing after harvest, wine. Now please look at these three terms. Now out of these three, all three will it come under Ind AS 41? Ind AS 41 prescribes what? That is a question here. Now the picked grapes, because we call it as harvest at the agricultural produce at the point of harvest, Ind AS 41 is applicable. So now the biological asset, will it come under Ind AS 41 or Ind AS 16? Remember, if biological asset you want to actually sell it as such, for example, the rice crop, wheat crops, okay, cash crops, okay. So you are going to cut it and you are going to sell it as such. The entire produce, I'll take you to one particular paragraph, especially 5A. Look at 5A for all of you. What is para number 5A? These are not bearer plants. Plants cultivated to be harvested as agricultural produce. Okay. Annual crops like your maize, wheat, your bajra, okay, or your rice. So they are all called cash crops or annual crops. Plants cultivated to be harvested as agricultural produce. Trees. Plants cultivated to produce agricultural produce when there is more than a remote likelihood that the entity will also harvest and sell. Example, trees that are cultivated both for their fruit and lumber. Oh, wow. They are not called bearer fruits, bearer plant. Now, what will come within 41? What will not come within 41? Let me take you to this case study. Then I'll again come back here. Please look at this case study. So here, simple. Make this point very simple. Grape wines, we call it as bearer plant. Why? It bears grapes. It holds the grapes. Okay. They are creepers. Now, until it bears the grapes, because from the grape wine, flower has to come, then pollination has to take place, then it will become a fruit. Fruit has to grow, then it will mature, then you have to cut. So that is why it is called as bearer plant. Now bearer plant is defined. Now what is a bearer plant? Look at this. Bearer plant is a living plant. So your grape wine is a bearer plant. Okay. So bearer plant is a living plant that is used in the production or supply of agricultural produce. Oh, produce is what? Produce is your picked grapes. Used. That is used in the production of agricultural produce. Is expected to produce for more than one period. Not maybe once it will produce, you will cut it, or it will produce season by season. Okay. Maybe it will be only done for once, or it will come season by season. Okay. So now come to this case study again. So grape wines will not come under Ind AS 41. It will go to Ind AS 16. So that means it is a property, plant and equipment. It is a property, plant and equipment. So that is why I will be showing the Tata Coffee Limited. Please look at Tata Coffee Limited. This is biological asset. So biological assets are, okay. Now what are biological assets? So these are all biological assets. Arabica coffee plant. These are all bearer biological. Why it is called bearer? Okay. So I'm now discussing about the term called bearer. Bearer biological asset. What is a biological asset? A living plant. So here Arabica coffee plant is a living plant. So that will come under property, plant and equipment. Then where Ind AS 41 will come? So Ind AS 41 will come only with respect to. So I am taking you to para number 1 and 2. Very important para. Look at para number 1. This standard shall be applied to biological assets. Agricultural produce at the point of harvest. Note down this point. At the point of harvest. Government grants will come later. So now This standard does not apply to, please look at this B part, very important. Bearer plants related to agricultural activity. That's what I said. It will go to Ind AS 16. But however, this standard shall apply to produce on those bearer plant at the point of harvest. Please look at para 3 here. The standard shall apply to agricultural produce, which is harvested produce of the biological entities at the point of harvest. So, until grapes is harvested, the wine will be accounted as per the prescription of Ind AS 16. When you actually harvest the grapes, grapes will be the measurement, the recognition and measurement of grapes will be done as per Ind AS 41. Thereafter, it becomes inventory. It becomes a sale. So inventory, and what will happen? What will be the inventory means what is cost? What is cost? Cost will be your measurement as per Ind AS 41. That will be your cost. For your information, let me take you to para 13. Look at para number 13. Agricultural produce harvested from the entity's biological assets. Wow. Shall be measured at fair value. I'll tell you, I'll give an example for this. And such measurement will be the cost for Ind AS 2. Wow. From 16, you cut it, it will be measured at Ind AS 41. And once after harvest, it becomes inventory because you have to sell it as grapes or you process it. You process it and you make it wine and you put it in a barrel, put it inside and save it inside the, what do you call it, as inside the mud, you keep it in and let it cure, let it mature. So 3 years, 5 years, 4 years, 10 years, 20 years. So then that will become wine. So more the years, more will be the price for it. Okay, good. So now please look at this case study 1. So we have understood what is called harvest, what is called biological transformation, what is called agricultural activity, what is a biological asset, and what is a bearer plant, and what is an agricultural produce. Super. So grape wines will come under 16. Grapes will come under 41. After that, it will go become Ind AS 2. So very, very important point. Okay, good. Now let me take you to. So we are now at 12:10. I'll go maximum up to 12:45 or 12:50. I'll invite questions. So we'll also handle all these questions. So we are clear up to this. Now I'm taking you to the next step. Okay. Now please look at this. Whether land will belong to land related to agricultural activity, that will that come under Ind AS 41? No. So Ind AS 41 will come only for the produce. Ind AS 41 will come for biological asset. Oh, please look at what is biological assets. I'll take you to the definition. What is a biological asset? A living plant or an animal. A living plant or a living animal. Oh, and measurement of biological asset also will come under this. Oh, how is it? Because let me take you to an agricultural produce is the harvested produce of the entity's biological asset. Oh, sometimes you will develop a biological asset. For example, a living animal. A living animal. Animal is not defined here. Plant is not defined here. And you have to go to only biology or zoology to understand what an animal or plant or any Oxford dictionary. Now a bird will come under animal. Now in Venki's plant. Now look at Venki. So this is Venki. Look at this. Biological assets. Bearer and consumer biological assets. Now I am taking you to para number 43 and 44. So then I'll come back to this pack. Look at 43 and 44. Very important point. Then I'll come back to this so that you will understand where the concept of Ind AS 41 will come. We are now clear with one point about Ind AS 41. That is the produce at the point of harvest. Ind AS 41 is applicable. Then there is one more aspect I have to say. So that is the example I have given in para number 13. So agricultural produce harvested shall be measured. Harvest. Now I take you to para 12. Biological asset shall also be measured. Now I'm focusing only at that word called biological asset. Only biological asset I'm focusing. Okay. Now come to para number 43 and 44. Okay. Look at 43. Look at this 44. consumable biological asset, bearer biological asset. So because your consumable biological asset, bearer biological asset. This is in your Venki's annual report, 2021 annual report, recent annual report. Okay. So I'm going to explain this part. Now please look at this para number 44. What is called consumable biological asset? Are those that are harvested as agricultural produce or sold as biological assets. Consumable. Examples of consumable biological assets are livestock intended for the production of meat. So here consumable biological assets. Now which one is consumable biological assets here? Your eggs will be consumable. Okay. Your lives, your poultry, especially what do you call it as the broiler birds. So the broiler birds, commercial broiler birds. So the commercial broiler birds are consumable biological assets. So biological assets are living animal or living plant. Wow. So your commercial broiler birds is a living animal. Okay, animal includes birds also. Are those harvested as agricultural produce? Okay, or sold as biological asset? Naturally, the bird is sold as a biological asset, and only in that particular place they will actually kill it and sell as a meat. Okay, so sold as biological asset. Examples. Okay, consumable by livestock intended for production of meat. Okay, etc. So now what is a bearer biological asset? So bearer. That is example already I have given. So especially your wines. Okay, tea. So here with respect to Tata Coffee, Robusta coffee plant is a bearer biological asset. So here with respect to your broiler birds are consumable biological asset, and your bearer biological assets are, look at this, are those other than consumable biological asset. For example, livestock from which milk is produced. So cow, okay, from where milk is produced. So cow is not a consumable biological asset because you are not going to kill it and sell it as a meat. You want to actually only extract milk from it. So the livestock, so then cow is a bearer biological asset. So livestock from which milk is produced and fruit trees from which fruit is harvested. Then bearer biological asset will not come under Ind AS 41. We'll go to Ind AS 16. But consumable biological asset that will come under Ind AS 41. Please wait. Okay. So Robusta, tea bushes, pepper wine, cardamom tiller. Okay, wines, silver oak trees. All these are bearer biological asset. Okay, good. So biological assets are classified as bearer and agricultural produce. Agricultural produce will come under 41. Bearer biological asset will come under 16. Okay. Bearer biological assets are held to bear produce are called bearer plants. Okay, good. So now how this will be measured? How the consumable biological assets will be measured? How the bearer biological asset will be measured? Remember, bearer biological asset go to Ind AS 16. Ind AS 16 only one method, measure at cost. But consumable biological asset, now I'll take you to para number 12. Para number 12. Please look at para. Then I'll take you to case studies. So biological asset shall be measured on initial recognition and at the end of each reporting period at its fair value, except when you cannot measure at fair value. Then it will be measured at cost. You have a para number 30 that says how will you measure? Okay, if fair value is not there. So now I'm taking you to Venki. So there I will say whether your commercial broiler birds are measured at fair value or not. Okay, good. Now let us go one by one because I am going to sell this as such. I'm going to sell this as such because I am actually growing the broiler bird. Maybe when it is hatching eggs, it is called hatching eggs. See, your broiler birds will come from hatching eggs only. The hatching eggs will be hatched and then it will be fed. So 1 week, 2 week chicken, 3 week chicken, 4 week chicken, then it will become a 15 week, 20 week, 40 week bird, fully grown. So then it will be ready to cut for meat purpose. So how I'm going to measure it. So in my balance sheet, how will I measure it? Okay. So let me take you to that particular part one by one. Okay. So first of all, I want to take you to the para number 86. So this is 100. No, I'll take you to para number 86. Look at para number 86 here. This is 86. Biological asset. Now, with respect to Tata Coffee, it is very clear. It is a bearer biological asset. So it will come under property, plant and equipment. I'll just share with you the property, plant and equipment here. Please look at this. This is property, plant and equipment. Let me show you that. There, this is your property, plant and equipment. I don't know how many of you can visibly see this. Okay, so here in property, plant and equipment, this is 31/20/20. This is, please look at this last column. Bearer plants. Look at this, bearer plants is here. So bearer plants is. Now, how will I measure this? I'll only measure it at cost. I'll only measure it at cost. Okay, good. Now, with respect to biological assets here, which is consumable biological assets, how I'm going to measure it. So after referring to this, I will take you to para number 10, para number 12, para number 26, para number 30. Then I'll take you to para number 44 and para number 50 also with respect to reconciliation. Okay, please pay your kind attention. Then I'll take you to various questions. Okay, for example, I'm sure these questions you can answer it quickly. Look at this. India is 41. Agriculture is applied to agricultural produce, which is harvested produce of the entity's biological asset. India is 41. Where will you apply? You will apply only till harvest? No, at the point of harvest. So 7B. Remember 7B. At the point of harvest only India is 41 is applicable. Now where is it given? Look at your para number 3. Very clearly it is given at the point of harvest. This standard is applied to agricultural produce, which is harvested produce at the point of harvest. So grapes, how will you measure? How will you bring it into books of account? How will you recognize and measure? Now please look at para number 10. Sorry. An entity shall recognize a biological asset only when the entity controls the asset. Naturally, that sorry for that. And it is probable there will be future benefits. Naturally, I'm going to sell the grapes. And the fair value or cost can be measured reliably. Now, why the word cost has come? Your para 12 only speaks about fair value. There they say, except for the case where fair value cannot be measured. When you cannot measure fair value, you have to measure it at cost. So I'll come for that. So what is your para number 3? Para number 3 says, this standard is applicable to harvested produce. Now answer this question. India is 41 is applied to agricultural produce, harvested produce or the entities at the point of harvest, not after harvest at all point of time. No. So 7B. Now answer this question. As per India is 41, what is a biological asset? Is it human being? No. Of course, generic definition is human being is a biological asset. Okay. Nobody recognizes human being as an asset at all. Okay. Are we asset? Are we a liability? So our top floor is an asset. The intellectual property asset is there. So definitely, human being is a biological asset. But I am saying as per India is 41. Okay. So don't go by generic definition. No. How can you say human being is not a biological asset? No argument. Okay. So here biological asset means living plant, living animal as per 41. So it is either A or B. Okay. So 8D. Good. Now please come to as per India is 41. Okay. I'll take you to this particular para. I was referring to para number 43 and 44. I was referring to 44. The consumable biological asset. I'll take you to 43. Here, an entity shall provide a description of each group of biological asset. I'll come to that. What is that group under? An entity is encouraged to provide a quantity description of each group of biological assets. Oh, An entity is encouraged to provide a quantity description of each group of biological asset, distinguishing between consumable and bearer biological asset. Consumable or bearer. I've explained what is a consumable, what is a bearer. Bearer will come under 16, consumable will come under 41. Or between mature and immature biological asset as appropriate. Wow, mature and immature. So it is both A and B, no, either A or B. So 10D. Now here I want to bring it to Tata Coffee. Please look at Tata Coffee and look at their disclosure here. Okay, very interesting disclosure. So especially their para number is 141, if I'm right. 141. Please look at this. So here, I'll bring your kind in. No, look at this. Bearer biological asset is carried at cost less accumulated depreciation. Now they are measuring at the cost. Why at the cost? Because bearer biological asset will not come under 41, will come under 16. And 16 says you have to measure at cost. So very good. Now, mature bearer plants are depreciated over their estimated useful life. Immature bearer plants are tested for impairment and estimated are follows. Now, what is the difference between mature and immature? Now, please come to this point. Tea bushes, coffee bushes, pepper vine, cardamom tiller, shade tree recognizer by a bearer. Now, this bearer will be further classified. Now, as per your para number, you have to classify the biological asset either as consumable and bearer or mature consumable and bearer biological, or between mature and immature biological asset. Oh, mature and immature, consumable and bearer. Now here what they do? They say these are classified as mature and immature. Now why the word mature and immature? For example, tea bushes, coffee bushes, pepper vine. Pepper vine, it will take some time to bear the pepper. Immediately you put the seed, tomorrow pepper will not come. So after that it will take some time. So when you want to have a coconut tree, so the coconut will germinate and then it become a small plant, it become tree. So it will be to your height, 3 feet, 6 feet. So I am 6.2 feet. Whether at 6.2 feet coconut will come? No. It has to grow. It has to grow. It has to grow minimum 20 feet or 30 feet. It has to grow. So then only it will bear. So until it bears, it is called immature. So immature and mature. So I am classifying that as a mature and immature. These are further classified. So bearer plant must be further classified as mature and immature. Now why am I mature? Mature means it will bear the fruits. It will bear the flowers. It will bear coffee. It will bear tea. The leaves are ready for, you will generate revenue. Now, if it is immature, the revenue will not be generated, only cost will be there. So that is why they want to make that distinction. Okay, so D. Now come to, now what is, as per Ind AS 41, a bearer plant is a living plant, except that is used in the production and supply of agricultural produce. Yes, bearer plant is used in the production of agricultural produce, correct. It is expected to bear produce, yes, more than one period or for only one period. It has remote likelihood of being sold as agricultural produce, except as incidental scale. That is what is called bearer plant. Okay, so when you cut it, it will be sold as a scrap. Until such time, it is remote that it will be sold as agricultural produce, because only its fruit, what the output, produce only will be sold. It is cultivated to be harvested. No, if it is cultivated to be harvested, it is not bearer plant, it will be consumable. Okay, it will be consumable. It is going to be an agricultural produce. Okay, you are going to call it as a biological asset. Okay, and anytime it will become a produce. Okay, then how are you going to recognize it? That is where I'm going to come now. So 9D, for your information, this is 9D. Now I'm coming for that very, very important point here. Okay, now please come to the biological asset which you are going to cultivate and harvest it. Okay, so that you are going to harvest. So biological assets include poultry for livestock breeding, broiler and layer eggs. Okay, so that means broiler birds, you are going to sell it for meat purpose. Layer birds, you will develop it for the purpose of getting eggs. Remember, broiler birds will never lay eggs. Okay, good. Hatching eggs and live commercial birds. Okay, so biological assets include poultry farm, livestock breeding parent. So livestock breeding parent. Now look at this word, breeding parent. Parent for broiler eggs and layer eggs. Then you have hatching eggs and live commercial birds. Why it calls commercial birds? Commercial birds, you want to sell it as a, this broiler birds you will sell because they are going to kill it and sell for meat. Layer birds for eggs purpose. How do you get this broiler bird and layer bird? From egg only it will come. For that egg has to be laid by a parent. So I will develop a livestock breeding parent, which will be called as broiler for broiler purpose and layer purpose. Oh, very interesting. Now you have to apply your mind how you will get that. So those are all a little bit scientific. I will not go into that particular part, but please understand this fundamental distinction. And biological assets except breeder flocks and commercial layer birds are measured at fair value less cost to sell. Beautiful point. Why? Because I am taking you to para 30. I made it very clear here. What is para 30? Look at para 30. Inability to measure fair value. There is a presumption that fair value can be measured for biological asset. Now look at this. Biological assets are measured at fair value less cost except breeder flocks and commercial layer birds. Now commercial layer birds. This commercial layer birds, because they will be with me throughout, and till 10th week or 15th week, they will not lay eggs. From 16th week till 40th week or 50th week, they will lay eggs. After 50th week, they become culled birds. What do you mean by culled birds? They become old. They become old birds. Remember, broiler birds are having soft meat that will sell at a very high price. Okay, and layer birds will not be sold because it is every day it is laying egg. But layer bird, once it is over matured, matured means it will lay egg. Over matured means it is old. Once it is old bird, it is called culled bird. You have to only kill it. So they will sell. But remember, broiler bird is also sold for meat, and layer bird, commercial layer bird, old bird, which is called as culled bird, that is also sold for meat, and that price will be very less because it is culled bird. The meat will be not that soft, for your information. So, and that is also not good for health, and broiler birds are also not good for health. Both are not good for, because the all the protein in everything is gone there, and with respect to broiler, we never know whether it is male or female, for your information. So the valuation of the breeder biological assets, breeder means the breeding parents, the parent birds, okay, and the commercial layer birds are determined on the following basis. That is by cost. That is what the para number they say. Look at. However, the presumption rebutted that it is not available, then you have to go by cost. So then what I will do, I'll go by the costing method. So what is your cost of the egg? What is the cost of hatching? Because you have a hatching machine. So what is the depreciation for that? How long you have to use it? How many eggs? So you have to go by costing principle. So costing will be used here, and many of you are cost accountants who are attending this particular program. So please understand, this is a place where costing plays a very important role. So birds are used for captive consumption or to support. It is uncommon to be sold before the end of its useful life. There is no active market. So other references to market prices. So they give some logic to arrive at the cost of this breeder biological assets and commercial layer birds. But my view is, you can go as per the prescription of para 30, you can go by the cost principle. Okay, good. So now let me take you to, so I have already done question number 7, 8, 9, 10. I'll now take you to question number 6. Look at question number 6. IndAS Agriculture 41 does not apply to, except, that means it applies to. Look at para number 2. Look at para number 2. This standard does not apply to land related to agricultural activity, because land related to agricultural activity will go to IndAS 16. Bearer plant related to agricultural activity. Bearer plant will not come under Ind AS 41, it will go to Ind AS 16. Okay, been there. But the produce will come under Ind AS 41. Produce will come under Ind AS 41. So C is your answer. Government grant will not come under. Government grant related to bearer plant. Okay, will not come under Ind AS 41. It will go to Ind AS 20. Okay, that is for your kind information. Okay, good. So that means 6C. Now let me take you to the next important point here. So that is, I'll take you to the reconciliation part. Okay. Now I want to take you to another few more questions also. So I have already done this part. I'll take you to agricultural produce harvested shall be measured at fair value less cost to sell. Now, this 12 I will come, this 12 example I will come. Biological asset shall be measured on initial recognition and at the end of each reporting period at fair value less cost to sell. Now, what is a biological asset? Just now you saw. Okay, biological asset are measured at fair value less cost. Now, how it will be done? Except breeder flocks and commercial layer birds. Breeder flock, commercial layer birds are at cost. And that means broiler birds are at fair value. Okay. Similarly, they are going for a breeder biological asset, that is breeder flocks. This entire breeder, broiler breeder parent and layer breeder parent are measured at cost. And commercial layer birds. So commercial layer birds. So that is also except breeder flocks and commercial layer birds. So are measured at flocks. But live commercial birds like your broiler birds, they are measured at fair value. Now let me take an example. Look at this. So how it is measured? Now over a period of years, every year end, how will you measure it? And where will you treat that in your books of accounts? So a biological asset shall be measured on initial recognition and at the end of each reporting period at fair value. Oh, how I'm going to do it? Now, whether it is going to be broiler birds or will it be a cattle? Okay, all will come under para 12. Now let me take you to a case study. A farmer, they owned a dairy herd, 3-year-old cattle. Okay, you can substitute with the birds also. Okay, now I'm taking a dairy herd, 3-year-old cattle. As of 1st April, the fair value is 13,750. 13,750, and the number of cattle was 250. So divide by 250. So 13,750 by 250 is 55 rupees per cattle. Okay, maybe in hundreds or thousands, whatever it is. Now the fair value of a 3-year-old cattle was 60 rupees next year. This is 2021, this is 2022. So from 55 rupees, it has become 60 rupees. So last year, 3-year cattle was 55. Now, 1 year later, 3-year cattle is now 60 rupees. Now there is a price increase of 5 rupees. But please understand, last year it was 3-year, now it is 4-year. So now 4-year cattle only you must see. So fair value of 4-year cattle is 75 rupees. So 3-year-old cattle you have measured at 13,750 last year. That has now become 60 rupees. So 55 has become 60. So 60 minus 55, 5 rupees increase. 5 rupees into 250 rupees, 1,250. So 13,750 you add 1,250 because of price increase. And from 60 rupees to 75 rupees age increase because the cattle has grown. Okay, then 15 rupees you have to add. So 15 rupees into 250. That means 3,750. So 3,750 age increase, 1,250 price increase. So that means 5,000 you have to add to 13,750. That will become 18,750. Meaning 250 into 75 rupees straight away. 250 into 75. That will be 18,750. So 18,750. The breakup is 13,750. There is a 5 rupees price increase for 3-year-old cattle plus 15 rupees price increase for the age increase. Now that is what I have given here. So 13,750 and price increases. There is a 1,250 and physical change, that is age increase 3,700. So total 18,750 and 18,750 will be your fair value. Now what will happen to this? Okay, last year it was 13,750. This year is 18,750. So 5,000 increase to your fair value. Now 5,000 you will debit here. Credit where? credit. Now please look at this gain. Similarly, it can be reverse also. Okay. Now please look at your para number 26. Any gain or loss arising on initial recognition, okay, and fair value from a change shall be included in profit and loss account in which it arises. Okay. Now I'm going to show you that with respect to your para number. Now please come to, okay, para number 50. Please come to para number 50. Look at this. An entity shall present a reconciliation. Oh, look at this. Look at para number 50. I have to prepare. Entity shall present a reconciliation of changes in carrying amount of biological asset between the beginning and end of the period. What is the gain or loss in the change in fair value? What is the increase due to purchase? Attributable increase, decrease due to harvest, increase resulting in business combination, if any. I have to give that. Now please look at this. So I'll take you to page number 100 and this is page number 100. I'll take. This is page number 100. Inventory, bearer and biological consumer, bearer and consumable biological assets. Okay. Look, a reconciliation of changes in the carrying amount. And this is as per your para number 50 and reconciliation. Now what this reconciliation says? Measurement basis cost, measurement basis fair value. Now which is fair value? Commercial broiler birds. Commercial broiler birds is fair value. Hatching eggs is at fair value. And your poultry for livestock breeding, that is your parent birds. Parent birds is at cost. Commercial layer birds, that is also at cost. Okay. Eggs, hatching eggs, okay, that is at fair value. Commercial broiler birds is fair. Why? Both market price is available, but for these two, market price will not be available because age will be different. So therefore, you are able to arrive at it. Okay. So please look at this commercial broiler bird. The beginning of the year, what is the gains arising from the cost? Decrease due to harvest or sale. Fair value adjustment recorded in statement of profit and loss account 2000. Whatever I just now showed you one example, they have done that. And at the end of the year is this. So this is for your kind information. Please look at this. So what is the gain or loss arising from the change in fair value? That is given here. The gain or loss arising from the change in fair value. So then what is your reconciliation between your beginning and at the end of the current period? So what is your at the beginning of the year? Okay, 677. This is in lakhs. Lakhs. And at the end of the year, it is 5,964. Okay. So what is the gains arising from the cost inputs? So meaning the commercial broiler birds will be added. Okay. So from the eggs it will be hatched and I will be adding. So I'll feed it, then I will add it to the commercial broiler birds. So ready for, and which are ready for meat purpose, it will be retired from its active use. So decrease due to sale or harvest or sale. This will be transferred to inventory. From commercial broiler birds, it will transfer to inventory. That is why I said from 41 it will go to Ind AS 2. Now I'll take you to the para number. Please look at inventory. Look at this. This is inventory. I'll show you the balance sheet. In balance sheet, you will have the biological assets. You will also have inventory. Very interesting. So when biological assets is ready for sale, you will transfer to inventory. Please look at the balance sheet here. This is your balance sheet. This is your assets. In assets, property, plant and equipment, goodwill, biological assets 3.2. And that has become inventory 3.1. Actually, from biological assets only it will become inventory for your inventory. And inventory, once it is sold, it will be transferred to your, you are able to realize it as a revenue. Okay. So biological asset only will convert to your inventory. Now please look at para number 3.1 and 3.2. So I just want to share with you that particular para also. Look at para number, this is your inventory and biological assets, both I showed you parallelly. Yes. Yes. Now look at this. So your bearer and consumable biological asset, poultry for livestock breeding and agricultural produce, SPF, that's called pathogen free eggs. Okay, SPF means pathogen free eggs, special pathogen free eggs. Okay, good. So in short, okay, I'll come to this particular para. Okay, I'll discuss maybe one more question. I'll discuss. Okay, with respect to government grant. Okay, para 34, because government grant is included in your objective. Please look at your objective. Biological asset I have discussed. Agriculture product, the point RS I have discussed. Government grant is also there here. But you say government grant, you go to India is 20. Then why it is given here? That also you must know. So it is given in para 34. Let me take you to 34. Okay. Yes. Please look at that. An unconditional government grant related to biological asset is measured at fair value shall be recognized in P&L and only when the government grant becomes receivable. If a government grant relates to a biological asset measured at its fair value is conditional, including a government grant requires an entity not to engage in specified activity, entity will recognize the grant in P&L one and only when the condition attached to grant are met. Now I'll explain this. Please come to this particular para. Okay. Example, Sun Limited cultivated a huge plot of land. The government offers a 10 crore under the condition that the land is being cultivated for 5 years. If the land will be cultivated for a shorter period, the entity is required to return the entire grant. Then what will you do with 10 crores? Okay. Therefore, the government grant will be recognized as income only after 5 years of cultivation. Now, please read this. An unconditional government grant related to a biological asset shall be recognized P&L account when and only when the government grant becomes receivable. Unconditional. But this is not unconditional, the example. No, it is conditional. If a government grant is conditional, the example what I showed is a conditional, including government, etc. It shall be recognized, the government grant pay only when the conditions are met. Now, 10 crores I received. They say cultivate this for 5 years. Use this money and cultivate. Otherwise, you have to return it back. So therefore, the government grant will be recognized only after 5 years. Situation will be different with the returning obligation referred to the years of not cultivating the land is with respect to retention of grant for a period till the entity has cultivated the land. In this case, the amount of 10 crore will be recognized as income proportionally with the time period, meaning 2 crore per annum. So meaning use it, and whenever we say you have to return it back, proportionally you have to return it back. Then based on the time period, you recognize that as an income. Until such time, it will be there in your balance sheet. So that is with respect to 34 and para number 35. And whenever you go to, this is not only with respect to land, it can also with respect to any subsidy. Okay, can also with respect, for example, there is a subsidy with respect to an asset given. So then will it come under Ind AS 41? No, it will come under Ind AS 16 as well as Ind AS 20. Okay, an unconditional government grant related to a biological asset. Okay, related to a biological asset. That is what I said. Sun Limited cultivates a huge plot of land. The government offers a grant of 10 crore under the condition. What is the condition? Are they giving for land? No. The land is being cultivated for 5 years. You have to cultivate what? Biological asset for what do you call it as for harvest purpose. So it can be maize, it can be wheat, it can be rice, or it can be some. See, today government is giving grant not for these purpose. They are giving grant for some exotic fruits. You have to produce exotic fruits. I'll give you grant. You produce it. Okay. So now you take the money, but you are not producing. Then what to do? You have to return it back. Now you are producing it every year. Then please look at this para. Therefore, the situation will be different. The returning obligation of not cultivating the land is with respect to retention of grant for a period till the entity has cultivated the land. Meaning, I have cultivated for 2 years. Balance 3 years I have not cultivated. Then 2 years you have to recognize. Balance you have to return it back. The condition is like that. So please understand this, very interesting. Today's example with respect to government grant that will be applicable for biological assets. The classic example of, for example, Odisha government, they are actually offering to agriculturists with respect to grant for producing these kind of exotic fruits. You have dragon fruit, that fruit, this fruit, so many exotic, not the normal, what do you call it as banana, okay, So that and all not there. So it will be exotic fruits, dragon fruit, oranges, peaches. So those kind of exotic fruits where 1 kilo of the fruit, the cost will be huge, okay, too high. And sometimes it will also be a fruit that will belong to not the normal land, but also to a plateau or to a hill. Okay, good. So guys, I must thank Institute of Cost Accountants of India for the wonderful opportunity given to share my thoughts on Ind AS 41. I'll be open for any questions. So we are at the last fag end of the 10 minutes. And thanking CMA H. Padmanabhanji as well as CMA Chittaranjan Chatopaji and the entire team for this wonderful opportunity.
Thank you so much, GKR Bhai. With the permission of Chittaranjan Chattopadhyay sir, Chitoda we call. As you said, if Chitoda permits me, I can ask the question which has come in the chat box. Chitoda, is it okay?
Please go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Sir, GKR Bhai, the question is from Ranganathan sir, membership number 16209. He is asking, sir, there is a difference in definition of agriculture between Income Tax Act and accounting standards. Okay. IT Act recognizes only agriculture produce from plants. What is the logic behind other biological activities like cattle rearing or poultry farming not being included as an agricultural activity in Income Tax Act? Ind AS does so.
For example, here I was referring to tea bushes, coffee from Tata Coffee and as well as Venky's poultry and all. Now, poultry farming is a taxable income because you don't use the fertility of the soil. It is only rearing of animals. So rearing of animals is a taxable activity under Income Tax. Income Tax Act logic is different. Here, our logic is we don't deal with non-living things. We deal with living things. So agriculture is a living plant, living animal. So there we don't have an accounting treatment for that. And for your information, whether it is a living plant or living animal, so measuring at its fair value will actually enhance. You will know what is the worth of that particular asset in your balance sheet immediately. So rather than going by a historical cost. So that is why Ind AS logic is with respect to present A and D. A and D is the objective. AD is accounting and disclosure. Income tax objective is they want to tax. So there you have a section 10 subsection 1 where it says agriculture is exempt. So meaning you have to use the land, fertility of the land, and you have to use your hard work to actually cultivate. Remember in Income Tax Act, spontaneous growth of crops or plant, from there you get income that is taxable. So that logic is different. And when we take Indian accounting standard, I used to say this, when you are in home, don't think about office. When you are in office, don't think about home. When you are reading Income Tax Act, don't think about Ind AS. When you are reading Ind AS, don't think about Income Tax Act. We will only be going mad. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. One more question, sir, is asking, biological assets are mostly internally generated assets and to be measured at cost. Now the question is, why the same have to be measured at a fair value and credited to P&L account, thereby creating unrealized artificial profits?
No. Mostly internally generated assets. Maybe what he means by internally generated means you actually there is a biological transformation. For example, you buy 2 cattle today, 2 has become 4 and 4 has become 40. But in your books of account only 2 will be there. But actually it is 40. So you have to recognize that 40 has come. Now, if 2 has become 40, then 38 is your gain. 38 is your gain. Unrealized, let us not accept the word called artificial profit. No, you have, there is no artificial, it is physical. It is actual, it is real. I will accept the word called unrealized. That is why when you want to sell, it will become inventory. Until it becomes an inventory, at the point of harvest, you must say what is its worth. Instead of 2 cattle, you now have 40 cattle. So you have to recognize 40 cattle in your books of accounts. You cannot go by historical cost. So otherwise, we are only giving distorted information. So that is the idea behind bringing this here.
Thank you so much, JKR Bhai. Now I request Chitoda as the host to take further proceedings. Over to you, Chitoda. After you say a few words, you can invite Somalika Madam to give thanks.
Actually, it was a really very, the way, people we are habituated to listen to him for a long time. He's so fast. That is not deep on the subject. Actually, I have taken particularly the particular standard. Padmanabhan, I was very much once upon a time. I also dealt in PSC also, especially on the TV. Yes, comes under the particular provisions of Indian Accounting Standard one. And that from a historical cost perception of fair value, and it is focused to our substance rather than the legal form of underlying transaction, has impacted every company and industry sector. And this adoption of Indian accounting standard actually it was a retroactive restatement of certain historical period. And in the company's food also, we have found that company are very much excited when this provisions was implemented in the company. When it was, it was actually food that company has to implement this Indian accounting standard in the balance sheet account. So actually, I was simply wondering why at that point of time I could not this presentation of GKR at that point of time. Yeah, I am listening when I require, but yes, very much learning point for us to rather GKR yeah, that a lot of definitions here, and most importantly, has changed the whole gamut of the that has really been very attractive.
Some voice disturbance is there. We are not able to hear you.
Hello, hello.
Now clear.
Okay. Sorry, actually my headphone was. Actually, the presentations, the way GKR has today done, he has changed his presentation pattern because he has made it more attractive with the question answer session. Because he himself has put certain MCQ questions where we are all keeping our eyes that which might be the answer, and he was bringing all the provisions of the accounting standard. Thank you, Mr. GKR. You have changed the pattern and it has become more interesting for us. Coming days also we shall be having a presentation with hope. And I request the presentations which we are giving, we are all keeping in the repository of our CAT AAT board, so that in near future we can this recorded version can be shown to our participants also for their knowledge. And definitely the book which we is bringing, Dr. GKR can also help us to bring lucid presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chitoda. And the glad news to everyone is, as per the request of Chitoda, Murthy sir and myself and the institute, GKR sir is bringing out a new syllabus, topic, subject-wise, everything. And we are going to launch an MOU has been signed the day before yesterday between the institute and AAT board. And we are going to come with a wonderful course where GKR sir is bringing nearly 10 faculty members across the globe under that, and that course will be available not only for CAT passed out students, any student, whether CMA, CA, CS, BCom, MCom, MBA, whatever it is, who are interested, and the companies and organizations where they want to make their employees also more fine-tune their skills to be very comfortable with Ind AS. He is bringing out this thing, and AAT board will be launching soon. That is what Chitoda was telling, that if it is in the form of a course, and if successful students are given some merit and certificate, that company also want to know how many of their employees are in touch with the latest developments. And he has brought a concept called MSME Mitro, where the ministries of Government of India and other state level union territory has appreciated Chitoda's representation, and they are eagerly waiting for fine-tuning the employees of the unorganized sectors and organized sectors also. So this is the glad news which Chitoda, Murthy sir, myself, we want to convey, and thank our GKR sir for taking the efforts of bringing that particular this thing as per the demand of many of the members. So I request Somalika madam, our honorable member of the CAT Directorate from Kolkata, to have the pleasure of thanking from the heart of heart. I request Varun Joshi bhai to take madam live, please. After that, she will address. Yes, I am able to do that. Okay. Over to you, Somalika madam.
Thank you, sir. It's my great pleasure to have opportunity to give vote of thanks on today's program. We are again back to our India AS series. I, on behalf of the Institute of Cost Accountants of India and entire fraternity of the Institute, first of all, extend my most sincere thanks to Almighty God for enabling us to present here in this scenario. I would like to thank our resource persons, GKR sir. It was a great session indeed, as always, sir. It was truly knowledgeable session. Thank you very much for your presentation and your time and your presence. I'm very much thankful to our Central Council member, CMA Dhirendra Chattopadhyay sir, for your valuable presence and providing important glimpses into this topic. Thank you very much, sir, for your time and your presence also. I'm thankful very much to our chairman, sir, CMA Padmanabhan, for his august presence and encouragement and support, as always reported here to us, sir. I am thankful to our President, sir, CMA Vishwadev Kashu, sir, and our Vice President, sir, CMA P. Raju Iyer, sir, for their support. I'm thankful to Mr. Varun Joshi, my colleague, for being a continuous support throughout the session. I am thankful to our IT team of the Institute for providing the IT support in every step of the session. Last but not the least, I am thankful to all the participants who are available with us today. And thank you all once again. Have a very good day to you all. Thank you, sir. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Somalika madam. So nice of you. On Sunday, that too a woman finding time to be with us for the official. Hats off to you. Thank you so much. Everybody stay safe, stay blessed, and we will conclude the session with our own institute anthem sung by our own women officials of the institute. That includes Somalika also. So I request Varun Joshi bhai to play the institute anthem, and we will conclude. Thank you, GKR sir. Thank you, Chitoda. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Namasuma Jyotirgamaya
Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorgamaya
Satoma Satgamaya Tamasuma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurmamritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
So thank you so much once again, GKR sir, and everybody. Thank you, thank you. Wish you all the best. Please take care and stay safe. Thank you very much. I request Somalika Madam, Varun Joshi sir to kindly
Yes.
end the program.
Yes.